You won't believe how Microsoft really started. Bill Gates didn't just drop out of Harvard, he made a phone call that changed tech forever. No product, no company, just an idea, a bold claim, and a bet on himself. That single move launched Microsoft and built one of the most powerful empires in history. This isn't just the story of a software company. It's a blueprint for anyone who's ever thought, what if I just went for it? Bill Gates was a tech-obsessed teenager before Silicon Valley was even a thing. Born in 1955 in Seattle, he wrote his first computer program, a simple game of tic-tac-toe, at just 13 years old. But for Gates, it wasn't just about making the machine work. It was about seeing the potential of what machines could do. He wasn't doing this alone. His partner in crime? Paul Allen, a fellow student and tech prodigy. Together, they snuck into computer labs, broke into timeshare terminals, and wrote programs for fun. While most high schoolers were at football games, they were debugging code. By the time Gates got to Harvard, his brain was already in startup mode. And in 1975, everything changed. Paul Allen showed him a magazine cover featuring the Altair 8800, the first personal computer that regular people could afford. They immediately saw the opportunity. The Altair had hardware, but no software. So what did Gates do? He called the company and said, "We have the software you need." He didn't. They hadn't written a single line of code yet. But that bold call bought them time. They locked themselves in a room for weeks, coding non-stop. When they finally sent the program over, it worked. And that single demo, it landed them their first deal. That moment marked the birth of Microsoft. Gates dropped out of Harvard, moved to Albuquerque, and got to work. No office, no capital, just raw belief and grit. But what made Microsoft different wasn't just technical skill, it was business strategy. Most companies at the time sold their software once and moved on. Gates did the opposite. In 1980, IBM approached Microsoft for an operating system for their new personal computer. Gates didn't have one, but he found one, bought it, and rebranded it as MS-DOS. Here's where the genius came in. Instead of selling the system to IBM, Gates licensed it. That one decision allowed Microsoft to keep ownership and license the software to other manufacturers. As the PC market exploded, so did Microsoft's revenue. That was the move that turned Microsoft from a small startup into a software giant. And then came Windows. Launched in 1985, the first version of Windows was clunky and slow. Critics dismissed it. Apple looked far ahead. But Gates had a vision, a user-friendly, visual operating system for everyone. He improved it relentlessly. Each version became faster, cleaner, and more accessible. By the early 90s, Windows was dominating, and Microsoft had become the name in personal computing. Bill Gates became the youngest billionaire in history. But behind the scenes, he was intense. He challenged his team. He memorized lines of code. He pushed people past their limits, not out of ego, but out of obsession. Microsoft became known, not just for its products, but for its culture of high performance and speed. But with great power came great attention. By the late 1990s, Microsoft was being investigated by the US government for antitrust violations. They were accused of using their dominance to crush competition. The case dragged on, and for the first time, Gates faced major backlash. In 2000, he stepped down as CEO and shifted his focus. But rather than disappear, Gates reinvented himself. He launched the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, one of the largest philanthropic efforts in history. His new mission? Fight disease, reduce poverty, and improve global education. The boy who once hacked into computers for fun was now helping vaccinate millions around the world. And through it all, Gates never lost his edge. He still believed in long-term thinking. He still read obsessively. And he still pushed people to solve problems others were afraid to touch. So what's the real blueprint behind the rise of Microsoft? It wasn't just about code. It was about conviction. It was about selling a solution before it existed, and working day and night to make it real. It was about choosing licensing over short-term profit, about thinking decades ahead instead of chasing hype. Bill Gates didn't wait until he was ready. He moved fast, took risks, and adjusted on the fly. That's the lesson. You don't need to have everything figured out to make your first move. You just need the courage to make it. Subscribe if you're chasing your own version of success, and drop a comment if you've ever bet on yourself when no one else would.